Some days ago, the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria passed it into law. I saw it on P2B's page when he was complaining that forgery of certificate, that is, if you forge certificate for this country, it will not be a ground to sue you in electoral tribunal. That is, if you use forged certificate to run for political election, they will not take it as an offense in the tribunal. Do you understand the meaning of that? That is, politicians have legalized forgeries of certificates. Do you know why they could go to this extent? Because in the first place, if you take a look at the people that are holding leadership positions in our society, they are unqualified people. Our society is being handled by unqualified people, ranging from the fact that political thugs who have never been to school all their life, just that because they were able to smash ballot boxes during election, are being compensated with political appointments. And these political thugs have enjoyed the immunity and the financial benefits of these offices, and they have put themselves in places that they want continuity. That is why they have to remove it from the law, because all of them, that is, I want to bet you today, virtually all of them have forged their certificates. Otherwise, no reasonable Senate will come together to make a law that certificate forgery shouldn't be a ground of dispute in electoral tribunal. And this is a country that all of us, especially the youth, claim to be educated. But I bet to speak the cold reality to you that there are no educated youths in this country, and if they are very, very minute. Education is not to go to school and study Newton's law of motion in physics, study mathematics, study the periodic table, study commerce, trade is buying and selling of. Is that education? No. And that is why our education in this country have not done anything significantly in terms of the problems we are having in our society. Many of you think that without the white man coming to Nigeria, coming to Africa with their education system, our forefathers were not educated. That is the mistake you made. And that is why we are suffering. Every human being by natural evolution is educated. That is why if you look at all the classes of mammals that exist, all the class of mammals, including monkeys, gorilla, baboons, and chimpanzees, none of them have the idea that if they should take a seed of crop and plant it, it will germinate and reproduce another one. No animals on earth knows that. And our forefathers were farming before the white people came, which means they were educated. Apart from that, to give you a very, very good evidence that our forefathers were educated, I want you to take a look at our food. That is the evolution and diversity of the food we consume from places to places. Because some things are available in one place and they are not available in the other place. Go to the southern part of Nigeria. Take a look at all the vegetables, okazi, oha, bitter leaf, and different vegetables that our forefathers made the choice of consuming before the white people came in. If you do research on it, you will see medicinal values in all of them. And each of the medicinal values are very, very unique. Apart from that, our forefathers were eating gari, cassava, and akpu before the white man come. If they were not scientific, they wouldn't have been able to consume cassava, because naturally, cassava contains cyanide, which is one of the most poisonous acid in the world as at then, because the acidity of cyanide in cassava have reduced over time. Now, our forefathers did not pluck that cassava and start eating it. They had to peel it and soak it inside water. When acid is soaked inside water, it begins to ferment. Fermentation reduces acidity. After soaking it inside water, they brought it out. They did not eat it directly, because fermented starch does not digest. They have to subject it to heat by cooking it so that it can gelatinize. They processed this akpu through a well-known scientific process. They filtered it, which means they have knowledge of filtration. They did not eat only the akpu. They went and bring a soup that had vegetable, they have palm oil for vitamins, they have egusi for fat and oil, they have fish for protein, and they were able to combine the 6 classes of food in appropriate proportions required by their body. And you tell me they are not educated. It was white man that brought education to them. You will never be educated in your life. You cannot go to school to study economic model designed by Western economists, by Western scientists, people who did not consider the complexity of Nigeria and the main issues such as corruption and embezzlement. They made those economic theories not considering the reality we are facing in our society today. You cannot go and borrow those economic theories and bring it into Nigeria and think that it will work. In the first place, nobody has to go to school to know that there is an opportunity cost. Every living thing grow up to know that they have to arrange things on a scale of preference. And even a dog, a village dog that have never been to school, that have never studied physics, knows that this charger or this battery cannot start moving unless acted upon by external forces. So tell me why you go to school to be told that Newton's law of motion states that a body at rest will continue to be at rest and the body in motion will continue to be in motion unless acted upon by external force. If you don't grow up to know this as a human being, then you are not even worthy to be an animal. That is not education. In the first place, the people that brought education into this country did not bring the education to educate us into masters, because they were the slave masters. They brought the education system to educate us into helping them to perform their activities. And that is why the highest a graduate in Nigeria can do is to become an employee. Now, where is this issue coming from? You cannot decipher. Now, we live in a society where we all claim to be educated, and somebody is making law that certificate forgery should not be a ground of dispute in electoral tribunal. Make it make sense. Any education that is not targeted towards solving societal problem is not education. That is why research is the foundation of education. And we don't do research in this country. Why are we not doing research? For people to do research, there is a spirit of research that needed to exist in them. Yes, that inquisitiveness to know. That is why every scientific approach begins from hypothesis. We are void of the sense of hypothesis in this country because we were raised to become an animal. Indoctrination, religion. Religion is the number one thing that kills the discernment of an individual to be inquisitive with nature, because you end up running back to God for your solution. Meanwhile, you are supposed to conduct research and solve the problem. And that is why we don't have researchers in our society. A child that was introduced into religion, where everything you are being taught as a religious story, you must accept it. You don't have any right to question it. Get it right. That child cannot grow into an adult and develop a sense of questioning things, because education is an act of questioning things with wisdom. If somebody did not question black and white television, we wouldn't have had a colored television today. If somebody did not question bicycle, there wouldn't have been car. But we are brought up to be accommodating everything we are being told, to accept it, to assimilate it, and live with it, and say, no, you know, everything person is supposed to question. That is nonsensical. And again, there is an unbiased mind required to do a research. Somebody that was jumped into a religion cannot have such unbiased mind. Because to conduct a research, you must have one hypothesis and the other hypothesis, and test them without biasness. But you grow up taking side with God when you have not even heard from the devil. You have lost your bias, an unbiased mind, because an unbiased mind is supposed to hear from both sides before making it. And I bet you everything that has been told about the devil in this life are told by God. The devil have not spoken by himself, which means we heard from just one side, even when we know that this one side that brought this story already was a friend to the devil, and now they are having issue. Philosophically and obviously, the devil and God should be able to settle their differences without involving man into it. But they did. And because we don't know how to say, no, sir, please, me, I never even reach anywhere. More, I go settle yourself. We don't do that one. No. You take side with the devil. You take side with God. That is why we are taking side in war concerning Iran and Israel that has no business with us. So we are not educated. Education that does not focus on the society is not an education. Education that does not give you an independence of mind, an independency of thought, is not an education. And now the uneducated ones are coming to tell us straight into our eyes that even if they forged certificate and attain political position, it is not a ground to dispute their Nigeria. Why? And we all claim to be educated. If you can speak English language, rap with it. Speak as if you are coming from the UK. Every Nigerian will think you are educated. But education is not in your ability to speak a foreign language. No. Education is not in your ability to tow on borrowed culture. That is not education. Education is how do we observe our society? How do we identify our problems? And how do we proffer solutions to it? We have never done that in this country. No researchers. Go to our universities. ASUU have never gone on strike to protest the standard of education in this country. And our education is losing standard. And very soon, I bet you very soon, I'm talking about a country where somebody can graduate from computer science department without ever having a computer. Then what science did you study? We are talking about a university system. Somebody can graduate from agriculture, crop and soil science, and have not seen a rice plant growing. We don't have education. And that is why these rogues called politicians are telling us to our face that even if they forge certificate and they run for political offices, it is not a ground to take them to court for it. But it's a very big chain, and we need to come together to prove that we are educated. And how do we do that? An educated person should not dwell on religion. An educated person should not dwell on tribe. An educated person should understand that any damage caused anywhere to the society is a general damage to the society. An educated person, how you interact, how you behave, should be reflected that yes, this person is educated. You can't tell me that you are educated if you don't know your right.
It's all about it.
It's all about your life.
Yeah. So